how do we know that the state of Israel is definitely an important piece, important part of God's plan of redemption for the Jewish people and for the world?
Well, I'll give two hints from Peter and from Jesus, two pretty important people, two very important Jews.
Yeah.
First of all, Peter, in Acts 3:21, he's giving his second speech in Jerusalem. And he says, the apokatastasis is yet to come. Now, this is after the resurrection and after the ascension. A lot of Reform talk about the finished work of Christ. And they say after the ascension, everything happened as I just mentioned and you mentioned, and there's nothing more to be expected. But Peter says in Acts 3:21, there is more to come. Now, a lot of scholars say, well, that all took place, that apokatastasis, and it's a Greek word that in the Septuagint referred to the return of Jews from the four corners of the world back to the land. And they say, well, that took place after the return from Babylonian exile. Well, Peter says it hasn't happened yet. It's still to come. Now, that great return of Jews from the four corners of the world back to the land didn't start in massive numbers until the 18th century. And it continued through the 19th century and eventuated in the founding of the State of Israel in 1948. Now, a second clue is Jesus. Pretty important Jew, I'd say.
Yeah.
And Jesus talks about a future time when Gentiles will stop trampling upon Jerusalem. Now, when Jesus gave this prophecy, and that's what it was a prediction of the future, Gentiles were trampling on the streets of Jerusalem. And that's a technical term for sovereignty. Gentiles had sovereignty over Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. So they had sovereignty, military and political control. And he said, the end of the times of Gentiles will not come until the Gentiles stop trampling upon Jerusalem. Well, that didn't happen for 2,000 years after Jesus made that prophecy. And it took place not in 1948, because even in 1948, East Jerusalem was still controlled by, after 1948, it was still controlled by the Jordanians, Gentiles. Didn't happen until 1967, when Israeli paratroopers, one of whom was my friend Avi Zakai, a Jonathan Edwards scholar in Israel, landed and captured East Jerusalem. And only after that did Gentiles stop controlling militarily and politically the whole city of Jerusalem, the capital of the State of Israel. So what we know is that something really significant happened in 1967 that was either that signaled the beginning of a period called the end of the times of the Gentiles. Now, I think we're in that period now. So my point is that both Peter and Jesus gave clear signals that there was more to come in the history of redemption after Jesus' ascension, and that we are in a significant hinge period of history right now because some of these significant things are taking place right now as we speak.